80 since I was in college. Galleon at 37. The next one is a 1-week trip for 2 to Madrid, Spain.
Is that, here, Mitch, this is your file.
I talked to him, I talked to Krista's the executive director. I said, Krista, I was going to make a nice donation, but I don't think there's any amount that I can make to you. You know, they had the platinum donors for $30 grand.
Right.
And I mean, they probably are going to make, $500,000 just for the donations. But I tell you what, I never the people that I've been dealing with, one is a doctor, and I'm embarrassed because whenever I met her, first name.
Oh, I was like, where did it go? There are a couple extra copies in that file. You need them.
Yeah, Ford and I'm at a court, whatever. I said, I apologize, I didn't know how I read. Anyway, but they are so smart.
Yeah, well, that is such a difference.
Nonsense.
Right.
So when we sat down with an agreement,
Okay.
they sat down.
Gotcha.
And they said, okay, we understand this paragraph. You're on line 3, tell me what you're They were amazing. And they paid their bills by return back.
Guys about ready?
Yeah. It's rock and roll.
Riley, how we doing?
She's good. She said she's
Good. I'd like to welcome everybody to the September 17, 2025 Bruce Township's Board of Trustees meeting. Can we get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Philbrook,
Here?
Clerk Craft,
here.
Treasurer DeGiorgio,
Here.
Trustee Sakowicz.
Here.
Trustee Vincent.
Here. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a good crowd. We have a good crowd, so members of the board had an opportunity to take a look at the consent agenda. Is there any deletions, additions, or changes they'd like to make?
Nope.
I had a question about the bills.
Okay.
That's for now, right? So I noticed there was a substantial amount of voided checks in the bill list. That didn't seem to be normal. Is there an explanation for that?
I don't remember what it might have been that they just were printing wrong. They were printing over the words, so it
Do
just
you
had to be
know,
redone.
Roxanne? Two stuck together?
Oh,
That's what it was?
Check run, so the
Okay.
numbers.
Yeah, because there was dozens and,
Yeah.
there was a lot of them. Okay, just curious.
I got one question for clarification. Maybe Mitch can answer it. I got 50, on our special meeting for September 3rd, we had, shows 59 HOA residents. It was always 58. Is it now 59? Is that because of the new house on Christopher Court? Is that what it is?
Isn't there a park in there or something?
There's a vacant.
Park?
Oh, the parks.
Yeah, there's a-
Gotcha. So is that
There's 58.
58, so is that going to change the percentage? Is the park property, Bob, go towards the percentages, or it would not be included?
I don't know where the property is that you're speaking of, but just because it's vacant, it's not exempt.
It's a park district.
private park owned by the association.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Jointly owned.
I see, okay.
So it's
Well-
only 58 property.
Well, is it a lot of record?
No.
No.
Okay, if it's not a lot of record, then it would not be counted.
So we need to, are you figuring it, calculating at 58 or 59?
I didn't include it in any calculations because I assumed it was owned by the HOA.
So let's make a correction in minutes from our September 3rd meeting that it's 58, not 59. Any other changes? Not motion to approve? Anybody?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
with correction.
With corrections.
Second.
Motion by DeGiorgio, second by Sokowitz. Can we get a roll call, please?
Benson?
Yes.
DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes.
Sockowitz?
Yes.
Motion carries. Move on to item number 4 for comments from the floor. If you hear regarding the Cedar View paving SAD, you'll have an opportunity during public hearing to go ahead and speak at that. But if anybody else at this time would like to come up to the podium and have a comment, now is the time to do so. Keep your comments to 3 minutes, and please state your name and address. Come on up, Teresa.
Real quick, Teresa Smith from Covered Bridge. I just wanted to take a few minutes here to thank our community, especially my friends, neighbors, the Sheriff's Department and State Police, who last week did an amazing job to locate, retrieve, and return my lost pet. They did an amazing job. They all came together, and in a matter of hours, we had the dog back. So I just want to publicly say thank you to this community. I love Bruce Township.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. Anybody else wish to public comment at all? Now we're going to close the public comment. Oh, one more.
One more, and I'll keep it simple. I had a whole list, Mike, we've spoken a lot.
Is it regarding the paving of? Cedar?
Yeah, it's the paving.
Well, we'll have.
Oh,
a public
later?
hearing,
All
yeah.
right, cool.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Township, too.
All right, we'll close the public hearing. We're going to move on to item 5, which is our hearings and reviews, which is the Cedar View SAD. Everybody has got a packet and information in front of them. We've got, probably maybe I can make an introduction. We got more people here than normal, but Roxanne is going to be taking our minutes. We got Mitch Elrod, our Township Assessor. We got Dorothy Sockowitz, which is our Bruce Township Trustee. Frank DeGiorgio, our Treasurer. I'm Mike Philbrook, the Supervisor. Susan Kraft, the Clerk. And then David Vinson is a Trustee. We got Mike Hozak, our Engineer from Gibbles and Webster. And we've also got Bob Siebert here from Siebert and Dulosky. So everybody's aware of what we got going on. So at this time, we'll discuss any discussion regarding the SAD. Now, if you got some questions maybe the board might have for either Mike or for Bob. Well, after we do a little, well, we can do it, we can discuss it first before the public hearing. Right, Bob?
Well, I mean, you've got a public hearing, you might as well make a motion to open the public hearing. The public hearing will be then open, and then if the board has discussion among itself, that's fine. The order, how you do it, doesn't much matter, but you should open the public hearing now.
Okay, then we'll open public hearing, motion to open the public hearing at 6:06 PM.
Support.
Or by DeGiorgio. Get all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so if there's any discussion, any questions for either Mike or Bob on the SAD? Or even for Mitch? Possibly. No? Nothing?
You're asking us, or?
Yeah, you guys got
What is the percentage then, Mitch?
I have 50, not excluding that park,
Yeah.
I had 56.85 of frontage owners sign the petition.
That's percentage of frontage, you're saying?
Frontage, like owners, yeah.
Is there another calculation on owners out of that?
The non-owners,
No, so that's on lineal feet of frontage, you're saying?
Correct.
About property
compared
owners?
to the total frontage of the streets that I calculated.
Right. And now out of 58 homeowners, how many do we have? What's the percent?
56.85%, so I don't know if it's appropriate to rounds, 57%.
Okay.
Notice when this came up in 2019, that it died because of drainage problems. Are those, do we know anything about that? Is that?
Yeah, so in 2020, we were looking at it again. Mike Piper was the engineer that was looking at the time, and it was issued that they were going to be putting a corrugated edge drain from 32 Mile Road up Brook Hill to the northernmost catch basin. I want to say I have about 1,300 feet in mind, but it's a 4-inch perforated pipe, It's in pea stone. It's what they call a burrito wrap, and it would be to drain water off from getting out underneath the road, and also would help drain the road because the
So that's
road, if
part
I'm
of
not
this
mis-
process.
Yeah. Mike may speak a little bit more on.
I'll just add, because this program is a part of the county's subdivision reconstruction program, they obviously are going to contribute money if it qualifies for that. They don't want to put money to a road resurfacing project or reconstruction project that's going to simply fail in 5 years because you didn't solve drainage. So drainage improvements, and which are unique to each site depending upon how it was originally built, are actually required as a part of the project. In this case, that's going to be cleaning and televising the storm sewer system that exists out there today. So all the underground pipes that you can't see are going to be cleaned out and televised so we can ensure that they're clean and functioning properly. Adjustments to the grade of catch basins that are either in the road or adjacent to the road to make sure they match where the new road grades are at. And in this case, we have a known drainage issue that exists at the south end of the site that I assume every resident that's here drives by and sees. That will be, a solution will be found as a part of this project, and there are costs allocated to do that as a part of this work. So
I wonder why they didn't do that.
I don't know that it wasn't done then. My suspicion is whatever that cost was maybe prohibitive but now it's actually, if we want to qualify this for the county's process, it's actually required that we fix this once and for all.
Okay.
Just a question, Mike, whose money did you use to do that?
Whose money did we use to do what?
Is that the county's money that's fixing that problem that's there, that's been there?
The project cost will cover that. That's correct. Yeah, it's not going to be, itemized out separately. It's not going to be assessed to just the houses that it's in front of. It is a overall project cost.
I didn't know they took care of, gee, it's a known problem, we need to take care of it.
Let's wait on any questions
Okay,
right
fine.
now. Let's
Sorry.
until we can get public comments. Anybody else got any questions for Bob or for Mike? No? If not, then we will open up for public comment. And now would be the time, if you're here to speak on behalf of the Cedarview SAD, please come to the podium. State your name and your address, and please keep your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes, please.
I'll get it rolling tonight. I'm John Weers, 69490 Brook Hill, and I'd like to address you as well as my fellow neighbors of Cedarview. I'd like to share a few observations and questions, both from my perspective and what I've heard from others in the neighborhood. First, on support, Christopher Court shows strong interest. About 90% of the households signed the petition. Brook Hill and Saxon were at 50%, and that was as of a week ago Monday. Not everybody is equally comfortable with the project's scope, cost, or details. That's what I've observed. Christopher Court could move forward on its own, but we can talk about that separately. I'm sure you guys all know about SADs and how they can be broken up by street and so on and so forth, and I don't think we'll take everybody's time for that. A key point to remember for everybody is that the petition's conditional. If the county does not participate at the level required to make the project feasible, the petition is null and void. This protects residents from committing to a project that cannot be reasonably supported. On drainage, the low-lying areas in southern Brook Hill need a clear engineering solution. Mike certainly is aware of that. Both Mikes are. We also need to confirm that all storm sewers are functioning properly and feeding into the retention pond. Seeing that that is fully accounted for will help build confidence. Financially, the residents need clarity on county support, interest rates, finance charges, and administrative costs, I think, going forward. Long-term maintenance is also critical. We need to consider that as an HOA. If Cedarview is responsible, higher HOA costs are probably going to happen. If the county picks that up, that might not be so much of an issue, but I'm not sure that they will pick up those long-term maintenance costs. We're still waiting on the updated cost estimates from Giffords Webster. I think, Mike, you're still working on those. This evening's hearing is not the final word, but it's an important milestone, obviously. Looking ahead, the Cedarview residents should meet with the HOA board and the repaving committee. This will allow us to review updated numbers, clarify the maintenance question, and discuss both subdivision-wide and street-specific options. As I understand, the petition's still living. If you've signed it, but you have concerns, you can rescind your signature. If you haven't signed it, but you feel comfortable, you can still add your name. That's what I understand it is right now. It's a living document, I guess. So I guess for the next steps, the township process is to review the petition and determine whether the SAD meets all legal and county requirements. That decision will guide whether the project moves forward, is modified, or does not proceed. For neighbors, staying informed and engaged, especially through the proposed HOA meeting, is key to ensuring fairness, clarity, and understanding of all options. And so those are my points here that I wanted to share with everybody, just so you understood where we're at in terms of support of the petition at the moment. I do have some further questions, but maybe I'll wait till others participate before I ask those. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I'm going to write down the questions, and we'll address them maybe after we hear from more of the residents. Probably some of the same questions are going to come up, so.
Good evening, Steve Hodges, 69075 Brook Hill. Two questions and concern here. Is one, I've heard it as of tonight for the first time, and the letter we just got last week, considered the Subdivision Resurface Act. If it's a subdivision resurface act, is it through the HOA, or is it through the township where instead of all the streets, one or two can be done? So the big question is this an HOA issue, which is where I've been hearing tonight the comments just made? Because if it's an HOA startup that has to do this, everything that's been done so far has been done incorrectly by bylaws of the HOA. If it's not an HOA issue, it's a township issue, the HOA has no play in it. So if we can clarify in that. And then the second part, and only one, because everything else was covered in the last comment, was that the streets in Cedarview are public roads, they're not private. And the county's maintaining them. They're patching it, they're going through there and plowing it. If the HOA is not paying for that, so the townships or the county's fixing that. So why is the HOA/Cedarview responsible for this surface street restructuring? It's a public road. It's not a private road like most HOAs are. So those are two of my major concerns.
Thanks, Steve.
Was that Steve? Steve? Okay. Steve, and what's your name?
John.
John. I second everything that they said. My name is Greg Picard. I'm on 69443 Saxon Drive. I've spoken to Mike a couple times about this, and he brought up a really good point, and I'm not for this for a bunch of reasons. I'm a government contractor, so I do this a lot, and so the way it was set up and $1.5 million, just the transparency was low to say the best on the HOA. We weren't invited to a lot of the meetings. Communication was poor. We did get a mailed letter on the victory lap. I did get one with a label and a stamp on it. I've offered to mail letters out to everybody, so I think anything we do in the future with this HOA should be more transparent. I would probably have been for it had I knew more about it. Living on Saxon Drive for 8 years, all I've heard is this is the Brook Hill project. Saxon Drive is a secondary mention, and now it's the Christopher Court and Brook Hill, and Saxon Drive is a secondary mention. We have a piece of gravel that I've been driving across in my Suburban for the last 8 years, and it rattles me in my Suburban, so God knows anybody else that's driving a car over it. When you come up off of Eldred, you come off a mound, and it's paved up to Christopher Court, but then it goes to gravel, up to Saxon Drive, I turn, and then I'm on a paved road. So I get to beat the living snot out of my truck. The county comes out, throws some gravel on it, scrapes it. I would say a week and a half later, we got the same potholes, and in the wintertime, I drive on the wrong side of the road to avoid the right side because the drainage comes over and just washes all the rock onto the person's front lawn. On Eldred, I live, my property backs up to Eldred. So the county has put up, they keep putting more and more of the aggregate on top of that road. Since I've been there for 8 years, it's up about 4.5 to 5 inches. So now when I mow my lawn, I'm like this. I used to mow it like this. So the water would stay on the road and track down to the drains. Now it pours into my backyard. My backyard floods. It goes between my house and my neighbor's house. We have a river that goes down. All my roots are exposed down my trees, and it runs down to the drain that doesn't drain because the water coming down the hill doesn't go into the 2 drains that are not cut in correctly. So Saxon Drive has a massive drainage problem. My front lawn gets anywhere between 5 and 6 inches of water. My backyard has 5 and 6 inches of water. I built up my house so my basement doesn't flood. And Fernanda, who is 89 years old, and she told me that anybody here is welcome to come knock on her door and talk to her, and she will tell you that she can't be here because of her age, but she's absolutely 100% against this because she doesn't have $16,000. She's old, but other than that, her yard turns into a lake, and it gets so full, it runs to the side of her house and then fills her backyard. So our 2 storm drains there, and none of this, when I talked to Mike 2 weeks ago, he didn't even know about the drainage problem on Saxon Drive.
10 seconds more.
Yep, okay. And so the gravel, the drainage on Eldred, which the part, you know, yeah, they got bumps, so do we. And we're going to have gravel, and they've at least got bumpy pavement. But the drainage issue on Saxon Drive should be talked about because all of our driveways, my neighbors included, are all crumbled because the road is pitched this way, because of the way it was put in. It runs down, it's wrecked all of our driveways. So if we're going to do this, I don't mind paying $16,000, but I just want to make sure that my $16,000 are going to benefit the people on Saxon Drive, and it's not just Brook Hills drainage. We have a drainage problem as well.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Petition was signed by a majority of the landowners.
State your name and address, please.
Joseph Cusmano, 69289 Brook Hill Drive. That petition was signed by a majority of homeowners. It involves the entire subdivision, just not Brook Hill Drive. The engineer came out, looked at everything, gave us an estimate and all, but the improvements that the engineer put forth was for the entire subdivision, just not for Brook Hill Drive. Some of the comments, I believe, were misrepresented or leaned toward one way. This involves all the neighbors. That's one subdivision with 58 homes. And we had the proper petition filed, and I think it was verified by a township attorney. And I'm looking at what was provided by the Department of Roads. Question was special assessment. Special assessment district is designated area where a majority of property owners agree to allow a government agency to levy a special property tax for a specific service, including paving and repairing subdivision roads. So I think what we're hearing tonight are maybe some concerns of a few people, but the majority should rule. This is the United States of America. Just like the president's elected by the most people. The petition was properly filed, was certified. We have the majority. I think that would address the issue.
Thanks, Joe. Anybody else? Cedarview?
Just a comment to that.
Wait.
I understand the majority. We understand the majority. It's a slight majority.
No, talk to the, you got to address.
Sorry. I just want to make sure we're clear.
Not going to go back and forth.
I'm not going back and forth. I just want to make sure we're clear. The majority is this. 9 out of 10 homes on Christopher Court signed the petition. The rest, Brook Hill, 17. Saxon.
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't want to start that.
I'm not. I'm just.
What's the point? Make your point.
I just want to make sure we got the facts right. That's all I'm worried about, okay? And so that's all I'm saying, is that's the facts, okay?
Thank you. Is there anybody else regarding the Cedarview SAD? No?
One question, Mike, that we had talked about. Was it able to be verified that the people that were in arrears on their dues were counted? Because at one of the meetings they said.
That was verified by our attorney, and that the people that are in arrears, just since it's not an HOA issue and it's a homeowner issue, then they do count.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yes.
I spoke earlier. Is it you said it's an HOA issue, not an HOA issue? HOA issue?
It's a homeowner issue, and I got the notes down, and Bob may clarify that a little bit more as far as how the vote's counting.
Okay.
No other comments. We're going to take it. We're going to close public comment. Bob, we keep the public hearing open while to be discussed, or should we close public hearing?
Well, if the public comments are concluded and there are no further public comments, then you can close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and close public comment at, what do we got for time?
6:23.
6:23 p.m. And motion please?
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So we had some questions, and I can maybe address some of the questions to either Bob or to Mike Kozak. And one concern was, are the storm sewers and the catch basins that don't seem to be working right now, are they going to be repaired or looked at? I think Mike did touch base on that. They are going to be cameraed, they're going to be inspected. They will probably end up, when the project's all done, they're going to be in, more than likely, if they need to be adjusted or rebuilt, they're going to be rebuilt. And then they'll probably be jetted and vacuumed, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the process? So they will be functional 100%. The drainage issues off of Eldred Road. Eldred Road is not part of the HOA, that's county road. Those issues need to be addressed at the county level. If you got flooding due to water coming off Eldred or extension of mound, whatever you want to call it, it would be a county issue. If you do have rear water storm drainage that's not working and there are catch basins and the water's not getting to them, I know when the development went in, and there was, before any of the houses were put in, the road went in, all the grading was done and it all passed as far as, approved as far as what was put in as far as an engineered, I guess, construction plan that went into place, and it was inspected, and all the storm sewers and everything, at that point, all the yards probably had side yard drainage and rear yard drainage that was working. Since that time, I know that there's been a lot of people that plant trees and berms in those drainage swales, which just keeps that water possibly from draining to the structures. If it's tree roots that are growing, I mean, they don't start out very big, but they do get big. The ground swells up, and then the water's got to flow over the top of those tree roots in order to get to a structure. Some of those issues, the stormwater maintenance is basically the responsibility of the HOA. The township or the county does not have any means of basically taking care of an HOA stormwater drainage. So the issue maybe with the county, if the county's caused a problem with the flooding onto your road, then that would be a county issue. You need to get in touch with the county.
Do you have any contact for that? Because like I said, the road in the back, they built up, they're flooding everybody's yard on both sides with the road they built up.
I can get you, yeah, no problem, Greg. I can get you a phone number for the Macomb County Department of Roads.
All right, thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we get through, I mean,
I just have, we mentioned it's an HOA issue again. Is this an HOA issue or is this a township? That's my question.
so the stormwater maintenance is up to the, originally when the HOA was formed and the subdivision was developed, there was an HOA agreement for stormwater maintenance. It should have been filed at the county. That it is up to the responsibility of the HOA and all the homeowners to take care of your stormwater maintenance, which includes your catch basins, your drainage, your pond, your outlets, your inlets, and all that would be the responsibility of the HOA. So you guys need to have, in an HOA, you should be paying money into an HOA fund, and then out of that fund, you do take money out of that to take care of maintenance that needs to be done. So if structures cave in and they fall apart and you need to be rebuilt, that's all got to come out of your HOA account.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry, but you've confused me. I thought this is what this project was going to do, is get those drainages.
We're confusing two locations, right? So
Thank you.
Eldred is not a part of this project.
Thank you.
There are issues that I assume are related to the fact that the ditch on the east side of that road is not functioning correctly or in existence. I'm just looking at aerials or drive-bys while we sit here. It's possible that that's just sheeting off to the east, but that has nothing to do with this project. Now,
But aren't my property is in the subdivision, correct?
that is correct.
And the drain is on my property.
It
Is
should,
that still my property, or is that because the drain is just attached to that road, so now it's the county's because the drain is there, the water is my water, but it's the...
I don't know the exact hydrology of Eldred Road that we're talking about right
Sure.
as we speak. My assumption is within the right-of-way, there should be a ditch, and it looks like there's a very clear ditch on the west side of the road, but the east side's a little less clear. But there should be a ditch on both sides of the road that take that road runoff water and prevent it from going all the way east into your
The
backyard.
ditch is my backyard.
Well, and that's, I think
Sorry.
that's, but no, to
And
Mike's
the drain's
point,
above it.
All
to
right,
Mike's point,
great.
that's the conversation with the county
Okay.
maintenance
All right.
department. That's separate from
It's
what we're talking
on my
about.
property, that's why we're talking about the subdivision, the drain.
I understand.
property.
I understand.
So it's still my property, and we're talking about fixing, we're trying to fix it, so I just want to know it's not.
The drains in the front of your house on Saxon Drive will be addressed as a part of this project.
Yeah, this
One other thing, just for the HOA, We don't really have any good records that show.
That's, again, you guys are going to go way off of where the subject is here.
I'll
We're-
Mike second, thanks.
But we need to get through this, guys, okay? So I know that some people are in favor, there are people, and we're not going to do the back and forth. The long-term maintenance on it, again, we just kind of touched on that. It would be up to the HOA to make sure that your catch basins are free of debris. I mean, obviously, if it's a matter of going out and sweeping the leaves off the top of them. If the catch basins start deteriorating and you getting a sinkhole that's caused around your catch basin, it is up to the HOA to have a contractor come out there, saw cut the structure, rebuild it, and put it back to the way it was and pour cement or asphalt back into it. It's going to be an HOA issue, but like Mike had mentioned, that the county's not going to invest this kind of money to make sure that to see a project that's not going to be done well. This subdivision was built, I think, in 1974, if I'm not mistaken, give or take. And these structures have not been touched or rebuilt since, and I think there's some work that was done on Saxon maybe at one point, but the rest of them have not really been dealt with. But it would be an HOA issue as far as long-term maintenance. But they're going to build the road structurally sound to Macomb County Department of Road Standards, so. The cost estimate from Giffords, there's a question in regards, Mike Kozak did put the cost estimate together. Do you want to touch base on?
Yeah, so, I mean, the estimate numbers that we're working off now are based on similar projects, very much within the area bid out in the past couple of years. As a part of the formal application, should this get approved tonight, the formal application to the county includes a more detailed estimate that'll be submitted to them, along with proof from the assessor and the township that obviously all the resolutions are in support of the project. Their biggest thing is they need to see that there is more than 50% support within the subdivision to move the project forward. So all that information gets submitted in a more detailed way with the application. I don't know the exact turnaround time from the county on that approval, but I believe it's 30 to 60 days. We would know if it qualifies or not, and then we're on our way to next year, designing and bidding and constructing the project in 2026.
Question for Bob Siebert. Can they still sign on the petition at this point, Bob, or we've already passed resolutions 1 and 2? Is it still open for signature?
Well, there wouldn't be any point. You've already got over 50%. And it's discretionary with the board anyway. You could have 100% of the people on the board could still choose not to do it. So whether you add additional signatures or not, it's irrelevant. At this point, the purpose of this public hearing is to determine the sufficiency of the petition, which Mitch has already indicated it's 56% and some change. So you've already met the sufficiency. To determine the boundaries of the special assessment district, which you have. To approve the estimate of cost in the general plans, even though the counties will go ahead and bid it out. And to set the term of the SAD. Those are the 4 things that this resolution does. And so it would be meaningless to add additional signatures to the petition at this point.
Can somebody remove their signature at this point?
No. When these petitions, when these petitions are signed, you spend money. You're out of pocket already on this project. If for some reason, let's assume the board tonight did not approve Resolution 3 and this died, you've incurred legal costs, you've incurred engineering costs, you've incurred engineering costs to prepare the estimates, the plans. So you're out of pocket already. And to allow someone to take their name off the petition after you've gone into your wallet and paid for the initial costs, it doesn't work that way. You sign the petition, you're on it. And so tonight, the board makes the final decision whether you're in or you're out. And there's just one other point I want to make before you vote on this is, I talked to Mike Philbrook today, is, at some point, let us assume that Resolution 3 tonight is adopted. You submit to the county approves the project, and then sometime in the spring, Mike?
It would be bid out.
Okay, in the spring, it gets bid out. It will be at that point that you're going to know the exact cost of the project. The resolution that I drafted indicates that this project is contingent upon getting the county's contribution of 50%, not to exceed $500,000. So if they don't belly up for that amount, you're out. So we put that contingency in to protect the township and to protect, more importantly, to protect the residents, so you know you have the county participation. After talking to Mike today about another component that I wasn't aware of is that when the county bids this out, they're going to knock on your door and ask you for a check, because you're upfronting the money for the residents, and then you're going to bill them every year on their tax bill for whatever period the special assessment exists. And so, but you got to upfront the money. And if you're going to end up borrowing that money, you either have it in your bank or you got to borrow it. And if you're going to borrow it from the state of Michigan, from this infrastructure fund, you may want to, in this resolution, add an additional provision which makes it contingent on you being able to get that funding. I have taken the liberty to do that after our discussion today. So if you're going to go ahead with this, as additional protection, you may want to add that provision into it. And if you do, I'll circulate it. If not, that's up to you.
Okay, that's probably a good idea, obviously. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Well, what I don't want to happen is I don't want to see you in the spring get a knock on the door from the county and say, you owe us $1 million. And you're looking at each other thinking, where are we going to get the money? Or assuming that you can get the money from the state revolving fund, and for whatever reason, there's been additional restrictions put on it. Well, who knows? You know, government's government, right? And the money's not available. Now you got a problem, a serious problem. And I think it might behoove you, if you're going to adopt Resolution 3, to add this provision that I put in there to cover yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Bob, appreciate it.
Do other communities that you represent do just the 50%, or some of them require more than 50%?
No, the way Act 188 is set up is it, as a drop-dead minimum on a paving project, you must obtain signatures on a petition of more than 50% of owners of the front footage on the road. It's not the number of residents, it's the number of footage. See, Mitch knows how to do the math, I don't, but you take the total length of the road, you figure out how many lineal feet it is, you figure who signed it, you do the math, and as long as you have more than 50% of the lineal frontage, you've satisfied the statute. But the statute is discretionary. I have communities that require a supermajority. They will say, unless we get 65 or 70%, we're not going to do it. I have other communities that are very rural that don't have the money to do it, and they just say, we're not going to do SADs at all. I don't give a darn whether you get 100%. We're not going to do them. We don't have the money to do it. So 50% is the threshold, and after that, it's all up to you.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Maybe a question for Mike Kozak. So it said, question was that the roads are maintained by the Macomb County Department of Roads. Why is the HOA responsible for paving the road?
And the short answer is that the Macomb County Department of Roads has too many miles of public roads and not enough funds to repair them. So they've created this program, which has a limited amount of dollars to fund it each year, about $2.5 million for this reconstruction program. So they can do about 5 projects. But that's the money they have available. The only way these projects would move forward is if there's also participation from the residents. The alternative to that is the road sits there and continues to age and deteriorate, and the county will come out and continue to put coal patch on it, and it'll just keep getting more and more deteriorated. So this is kind of the best shot at it. You're going to get some dollar amount subsidized by the county, but this is the solution that exists right now in Macomb County across the board.
All right, thanks, Mike.
So if the county comes in less than 500,000, that's just going to increase the amount, the portion for the residents, correct? It says up to 500.
And the only reason why, so as long as your total project cost exceeds $1 million, you're always going to hit that $500,000 threshold. So they didn't used to cap it, but there has been a demand, there's a demand for this program, obviously, for the very reason that we're all sitting here. So they've had to cap it so that they can try to spread that $2.5 million as best as possible.
And so if we do take out the loan and we put that provision in, there's going to be, I'm sure, fees and interest, and does that get passed on to the resident?
Yeah, the entire project cost, the special assessment, let's get to that. Let's assume you get through it, you get the loan, you pay the contractor, and then you're going to get a bill. Then it will be, the first tax bill's likely to be due December 1 of 2026. That'll be the first payment. And let's assume you spread it over 10 years. I don't know what that is, but you'll certainly want to dovetail it with whatever the loan term is. So if you go to the state, you're going to have some time, you have some time to figure this out on the loan. So if you're going to borrow the money sometime in the spring, you will know what the program is. The program may say you have to take it out over 5 or 10, or you can you can negotiate it. But you certainly want to make sure that whatever term you're going to charge the residents coincides with the term that you're going to repay the loan, so that you don't have to make payments over and above what your loan is, you know what I'm saying? So any costs associated with the SAD, soft costs, legal, the legal, to be honest with you, is nothing, because all I'm doing is the resolutions, but your engineering is a cost, your administrative are costs. The county's going to bid it out. In that number that they give you, they're going to have a whole bunch of costs in there. They're going to have their engineering costs and the like. So whatever final amount it is, they'll deduct their contribution, and the balance is theirs that you're going to upfront the money on.
And percentages for those items that Bob just talked about are all included in the current project.
Was that the 10% that you said you have
So
kind of worked in?
Well, no, that's a different
Different?
contingency.
Okay.
That's just a construction contingency. But there's an admin fee for the county, there's an admin fee for the township, there's design fee, and then there's construction engineering fee. So the county provides all the inspection, construction layout, and construction engineering. That's included in this number already that we're working with. So there's no hidden fees that are going to show up after the fact. They've all been included in these initial numbers.
Just to be clear,
Except for interest. That's the only thing that we don't have included in any numbers we've provided.
right. But just to be clear, the Macomb County Department of Roads will borrow money on behalf of Bruce Township with the State Infrastructure Bank. It's not us that's going to apply for the loan, the county does.
Okay.
I don't know that. You're saying, I'm going to defer.
I know that.
I have no idea.
I spoke to the county today and I have it in writing here.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. I know the question Greg brought up, is Saxon Road going to get the same treatment as Eldred and Brook Hill? The roads are all going to be treated the same. They're all going to get the same treatment, same type of infrastructure, undercuts if needed, subdrain, gravel, base material, base course, top course. It's all going to be the same. No road is going to get any preferential treatment that no other road is going to get. It's all going to be done.
The only difference being obviously a solution on Brook Hill to the known drainage problem, but everywhere else, it's the same cross-section, it's the same approach everywhere.
All the structures are going to be addressed the same way, and everything will be brought to grade. So.
Correct.
And then I think the signatures, there was a question with the signatures verified. They were looked at by the assessor. There were two parties on the tax records. He did request that the death certificates had been brought in, and that was all done and verified. So all the signatures had been verified by Mitch Elrod. So that's kind of the nutshell of most of the questions that were asked. And I don't know if we...
So the people who didn't sign it, I know on some of these it says no, but were they not contacted, or it was home?
Well, we additionally contacted everybody by putting out public comment, with a letter, but supposedly it's up to the HOA to circulate the petition. How they did it and what means they did it on, I've heard certain things, but not 100% sure. But we've got the majority of the percentage of what we need, so.
Who wants to do the HOA? That was the main question. Is this an HOA issue or is it a?
Well, I'm sorry, I did have that question asked Bob. Bob, can you clarify this as far as somebody's behind on your rearage? Is it an HOA issue or is it a homeowner issue?
Whether, the statute says that if you are the record owner of land, fee title holder of land, you get to vote. Whether you're behind on your taxes or whether you're behind on your assessments with the HOA is totally irrelevant. If you own the land, you get to vote.
Okay.
And if I'll just add, as far as circulating the petition goes, we do SADs frequently for commercial properties where there's not a homeowners association. And in those cases, we call it a cheerleader, a champion of the project. Someone's going around and talking to their fellow landowners and they're getting the signatures. So it does not have to be the HOA. That is an organization that obviously is in place and kind of knows people in the development. But, Bob could have walked around and gone to each house and tried to get the signatures. There's no rule that says it has to be anybody.
Ben, I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Yes, you.
Susan.
Susan. Well, you asked how it was authenticated. And I deal with contracts all the time. And when we have to get those, even if I get signatures, then we either have one of our staff call to verify from those people that they actually signed. So that was my question to Mike on the phone was, you know, I was given this in an envelope in my mailbox, and we've talked about this, it's gone, I think, 4 attempts to get this done. But I just wondered how it was verified, because when I was at one of the meetings, they were talking about were they gonna be allowed or not gonna be allowed. I just wanna make sure if we're spending $1 million on this thing, that the people that are for it are for it, and the ones that are against it. So I just wondered if the county or anybody else verified what these people where you just don't have any signature. If somebody signed, that makes sense. But if they didn't sign, like I didn't sign and Fernanda across the street didn't sign, but I'm just wondering, was it secondarily verified anywhere?
So I did pass out 10 copies of the signature pages of the petition, which does show people that were in favor of it, obviously they signed it, people that weren't in favor of it did not sign it. I highly doubt that any of the signatures are forged, I guess, or put, somebody signed for somebody else, but maybe it could be a strong possibility. Mitch Elrod did verify the signatures with the property, actually the legal property owner of the house, stating that, yeah, that is who's on the title. And we did have a son of somebody or grandson of somebody that we had an issue with.
There was a power of attorney that was on the deed.
So,
but I verified all the signatures through the recorded documents in the Macomb County Register of Deeds to match the signature. So if anything looked a little strange, I had access to, if there was mortgage documents or something, I could find multiple signatures to verify it, and I didn't find anything suspicious on the homeowners that signed.
okay.
All right, thanks.
You got to understand, we didn't come to you guys and say you got to pave the road. We're working on your behalf. Some of the people, whether you all agree on it or not, want the road paved. We're here to try to facilitate and try to get this to come to, a happy agreement for everybody. Maybe when it's all said and done and it's, everybody will be happy. But in the meantime, we're not pushing this on you guys. You guys kind of had come to us as an HOA and as a, homeowners association. And I can give you my own personal opinion. I belong to an HOA. I have a vacant lot in an HOA. There's 25 homeowners. We're looking at having the road done. We don't get any, no county funding at all. We're looking at 25 homes at over a cost of $500,000. So we're looking at a cost of $20,000 per homeowner. I have a vacant lot on there. I don't even use the road, but I'm still going to be assessed at $20,000 or have to pay for the $20,000. Our HOA about 6 or 7 years ago decided to increase our HOA dues to $1,200 a year in order to build a slush fund in order to, when we do pave the road, that it won't hurt so bad and we don't have to come with that much out of pocket. But when that contractor's done paving that road, he's going to want to get paid all of it. And I don't have the opportunity to pay it over time like you guys got that. So just, I feel your pain, but maybe that should have been a process when you guys were looking at this back in the day. If you guys were building up your HOA fund, it might not hurt so bad right now. But I don't know if that was, management or whatever the case might be, so.
And it's been clearly stated tonight that when it's paved, the ongoing maintenance is going to be responsibility of the HOA. So filling in the seal cracks, that's our responsibility. That won't be the county, that's us.
I don't know, I think the
No,
county
the
is
county
in
will still
charge of the
come out,
roads.
yeah.
You have to maintain the the catch basins and whatever Mike talked about there, but the roads themselves are county.
The county does have a
roads.
crack sealing program. They do.
Yes.
I would say that when these projects occur, they will make sure that these developments get added to that list, because I don't think they're coming out and sealing cracks today on that site. They're putting coal patch down, so they do make sure that, again, money is not thrown away, that these roads are taken care of.
So we can count on that. Okay, that's good.
Right. You should be able to count on the county there, yes.
Okay. Now, with that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion. If somebody wants to put a motion on the table.
Mike, before you make it, let me circulate the amendment that I made. If you look at the second page, paragraph 2, I've highlighted it in red. That's the only change. You've got the resolution in front of you already. It's the identical resolution. All I've done is added the red language, which just makes it contingent upon you being able to get funding through the State of Michigan Infrastructure Loan Fund. That's all. Second page, about dead in the middle.
So we can just approve this resolution?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, again, I didn't know about this potential funding issue until today, and I want to make sure that you're covered. So that, if this may be a done deal and it may be much ado about nothing and you're going to get the funding, but if it isn't, you need an out if it's, if you don't get it. But that's your call, not mine. But it's important, to me as your lawyer, it's important that you take a hard look at that language. The rest of it's identical.
So we need to have dollar amounts, right?
No. Dollar amounts are-
Dollar amounts for what, Mike?
Yeah, no, I just,
It does say what the cost of the whole project is.
Yeah.
okay.
The resolution already, all you're doing is approving the estimate of cost. The actual bid amount can be different. It could be higher, it could be lower. You don't know that. The statute at this point is only requiring you to approve the estimate of cost and plans that Mike's office has prepared. That's it. There's definitely going to be, unless Mike was on his game to the penny, there's going to be some difference between the estimate and the actual amount.
And is it true there's like a flex of like 10%? So if it goes over 10% of what the estimated cost
Yeah.
is, then there's a,
Yeah, here's the way the statute works. Let's assume it goes to the county, you approve it, you bid it out, and Mike's got this, what, at 1.3? 1.4. Let's assume it comes in at, I don't know, whatever more than 10% of that is, comes in at 1.8 million. If there's a provision in the statute which says that if the actual cost of the project exceeds the estimate that you approved by 10% or more, you have to come back and do this hearing again. The theory being that residents that would have signed the petition based on this estimate may not have signed it if this was the estimate. So you give them you have to do a redo if there's a 10% increase. It's mandatory. And we've done that before. I'm just doing one right now in Chesterfield Township. We did one. The bids, for whatever reason, were under, and the actual construction costs came in way over, and we did a redo.
would that affect signatures at that point?
No,
Because- okay,
no,
it would
signatures,
just-
they're in granite right now.
Okay.
They're not going to be removed or added. Their signatures are what they are. It's got nothing to do with it. But when they come back again at that public hearing, we're probably, this is a hypothetical, but there's a whole lot of things for the board to consider. You could kill the project at that point, but again, you now have additional cost into it. And if it goes up by more than 10%, the residents come out and they say, look, we didn't buy into this number, we bought into that number. And the board decides, okay, because of the 10% increase, we're going to kill it. Every dime you've spent from the beginning of this year until when you get that real cost, you're going to eat it. So that's your call to make. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Okay. Thanks, Pat. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 3 for the special assessment for Cedar View subdivision. In accordance with the provisions of Act 188 of the Public Acts of 1954. As presented, I guess. Basically, we don't have to read the whole.
No, you don't have to read any of it. All you got to do is make a motion to adopt it. Yeah, with the changes that I just gave you, what I've got marked is option 1 in the upper right-hand corner with the red language on
Yeah.
paragraph 2. That's all.
Yeah, motion to approve the new resolution number 3, or the, yeah.
Support.
Support by Vincent. Is there any other discussion for the board? If not, can we get a roll call, please, Roxanne?
Giorgio,
Yes.
Starkowitz,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Philbrook.
Yes, so that means the motion is carried.
We didn't, well, Susan didn't get to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Susan.
That's all right. I said yes,
You don't, oh,
I guess.
so motion carries. So at this point, Bob, the next step, we still have resolutions number 4 and 5, right?
Yes, but that's not going to happen until next year. There's 2 public hearings in the special assessment process. The first one is tonight. This thing now is a go, conditioned upon the county approving it and they're matching the money, and you getting the funding. Let's assume all that happens. Then in the spring, when they bid the project out, you'll get the actual cost. Now you know the actual cost to the penny, which you're going to spend. Then at that point, Mitch will prepare the roll. He'll take all, 58 units in the SAD, he will prepare the special assessment roll, and the homeowners in the district will get the same notice you got before. They'll get a mailing, and there'll be publication, and there will be a public hearing. The purpose of that public hearing is to come in and hear objections to the roll. And then at that point, if the board approves the roll, you, you know what, speaking of which, what you didn't do in that resolution, now that I'm thinking about it, is you didn't put in the term of years.
Right now, we're looking at 10 years, and we may apply for a 15-year, but currently, we can go 5.
5 or 10.
Or 10, and they would maybe go up to 20 due to hardships, but we're going to have to look, we're looking at a 10-year SAD right now currently.
Okay, then make a motion to make Resolution 3 a 10-year term.
Amend that to say 10-year term on there, Roxanne, please.
We'll get a second and vote on it.
Second by DeGiorgio, and now can we get another roll call, please?
Philbrook,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Sockowitz,
Yes.
DeGiorgio.
Yes.
Yeah, and then to pick up where I just left off, once you hold the public hearing on the roll and the board approves the roll, then it's done. Then there's what's called a Resolution 5. That's where you set the interest rate on the project, so, and you'll bill it, what, Mitch, on the December tax bill?
Most likely.
So it'll be, yeah, if you do this in the spring, you're not going to put it on your summer taxes, you'll put it on December taxes, and it'll be whatever interest rate you charge, it'll certainly be what you're going to pay the state revolving fund.
Which has been 3.5.
Okay,
but they
whatever.
keep changing
And
it.
then whatever interest rate, because, you're using your money, that's up to you. You're going to set an interest rate, and then you'll put it on the tax bill and you're done.
Okay. All right, so you guys all get to come back again, so if you want to. All right. Anyways, motion passed. We're going to continue to move forward with it. Most of you all got my phone number. I'm easy to get a hold of. I've talked to you many a times. Please call me if there's any questions or any concerns. I'll do the best I can. If I don't know the answer, I will get it for you. We'll keep you posted on what's going on and keep you up to date on everything, though. I really want to thank everybody, though, for coming out on behalf of the Cedarview subdivision. I think when it's all said and done, I think you're all going to find out that it was well worth it. So, again, thank you very much. So we'll take a 15-minute recess. We'll adjourn for a little bit for the crowd to clear out, and then we'll pick back up in 15 minutes. So,
We need to do that?
yeah. Whatever.
All right.
We're going to... Yeah. I already had it in mind.
All right. Right.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. At 6:05 PM, we'll start the meeting back up. 7:05 PM, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to move on to item number 6, our presentations. We got Dustin from Decker Agency here. Hi, Dustin.
I apologize for not having this in your packet last week. We have been working closely with the fire chief over the last 2 weeks. The timing also was not his fault. So as we discussed last month, I did go back to the carrier to try and discuss taking a possible percentage off of the renewal. That did not go as well as I was hoping it was going to do. So what we did is we got crafty with the endorsements. Over the past 2.5 weeks, I've been working closely with Chief to identify some older fire trucks that are still in rotation, but are not frontline. What we did is we went and got an appraisal through a company called Fenton Fire. You would think it's in Michigan, but it's not. It's actually in Pennsylvania. The 98 KME, based on statistics supplied by the command staff, came back between 65 and 85,000. So in taking that information, Chief and I kind of went through and analyzed some price points for those older fire trucks. At the same time, he identified some vehicles that are no longer with us. So if you look at your first page here, you're going to see the renewing premium at $109,428. With the endorsements that the chief put forward to us, that is going to be a credit savings of $3,046. Now, one thing I want to point out here, that is where we worked with the underwriting staff to obtain more savings than a standard endorsement. As I talked about last month, this policy's renewal went up to management. When it comes to endorsements, the underwriter has more leverage and power at that level. So it worked in our favor that we were able to work on these vehicles. You'll see that breakdown on the next page. Now, again, since last month, we're adding a new vehicle. It's a new Explorer. So that's why the savings aren't as high as they could be, because we were adding a new vehicle to the fleet.
We're going to delete that 2014 Explorer at the same time, so maybe that'll...
Yes, absolutely will. Yeah, I mean, adding and deleting is always a positive. And again, it allows the ability to work with the underwriter more closely now that it turns into an endorsement and not something new on a renewal. I can't explain to you why they're not even on everything, they don't pay attention to everything. I'd like to have a better explanation for you guys on that. It's nice once we start getting outside of renewal because I can work more closely with an underwriter. On the last page, you will see vehicle values for the two older fire vehicles. I did speak with Chief, today's Wednesday, correct? Yeah, thank you. I spoke with Chief on Monday. His recommendation is to go with option 1 for both vehicles. Again, the thought process behind that is that it leaves enough meat on the bone to cover a potential used purchase price. It's close to 20-25% potentially down on a new vehicle if we have to go that route in the event that we do lose the vehicle. Again, the numbers that you're looking at in the event that this entire dollar amount would be fronted to the township would be in the event that we had a totaling situation when it comes to a vehicle in the fire department. Anything underneath that value, obviously, if we're not pushing past the stored equity inside of there, we're going to repair. And what I mean by stored equity is, let's be fair. If we've got a vehicle at $200,000 and it comes in at $150,000 to repair it, it's probably going to be totaled. So again, as long as that vehicle, doesn't roll down a hill, fall over a waterfall, and go into a lake, we should be fine. I can't say with confidence. Maybe once every 5 years, our book of business experiences a loss. So it is not obviously a common thing. One thing that I am working with Chief, though, right now, one of our largest exposures in the fleet are ambulances. So that is something that we're going to be addressing after we tackle this. Does anybody have any, oh, sorry, to finish this out. So with that, with the credits and the endorsements and the way we structure them, that would be a savings of $5,166 in total with selecting options, both 1 and 1 for the vehicles, which would take the, which would give you a credit of about 5.7% in terms of reducing the renewing premium.
Anybody have it? So you got an option or to either accept or reject on these,
Yeah,
decreased amounts on these, and it's up to the board to make that decision as far as whether they're going to accept it or reject it?
correct. And as I talked with, Chief, he's currently away at training. His recommendation were options 1s for both of those vehicles. Again, I'm just trying to pass on and reiterate what we were talking about. I don't, to tell you the truth, I'm from an insurance coverage standpoint, vehicle use standpoint, and ACV value, say on a resale market, I think either options would be fine. It's really up to you. The way I'm presenting it to you is the way that my department head communicated back to me. I am not a firefighter. I'm definitely not a fire chief. So he is somebody, that I entrust to protect the fleet. And obviously, we've spoken a lot, I think, ad nauseum about vehicle values over the last 3 weeks. I don't think he wants to hear my voice about that anymore. So, because as I said, I didn't pressure him. I just left it up to him because I think he's making the best choice, both vehicle value-wise, insurance-wise, and for the township. But again, that's something that you guys can discuss. And then, when Chief gets back, if obviously, he's your department head, so not to tell you your business. But if you do choose to accept or deny, we just like to have that indicator, not because we don't believe you. It's good for us to have record for you in the future. God forbid something ever happens to all of you board members all at once and I have brand new people and I have to explain the value of a vehicle one day.
Any questions for?
No.
So this was a recommendation of the chief, basically lowering the coverage from 245,000 to 150,000 on that first. Is that what I'm understanding?
Sounds like.
Okay.
That is correct.
That is it?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, just to point out, your 98 KME is probably in the neighborhood of $850 to $950 to build in today's market. Chief also had a quote. I don't specifically know who it was from. His was on about $100,000 to buy it. Now, as him and I talked, I think the dangling carrot in that was either the purchasing or the building of a new vehicle or some type of attachment there. That's why their buyout was higher than, say, just a straight quote that I received from Friend and Fire. I think there was a little bit of a carrot dangling to entice one to come to whoever that was to use their product, ma'am. And forgive me, I honestly, I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry.
When you were here in August, did you provide an estimate at that time? How does this compare price-wise?
Oh, no, absolutely. So the presented premium in August was $109,428. With the endorsement removal of $3,046 and the potential acceptance of the other options on the fire vehicles, that would bring it down to $104,262.
So this is essentially the same bid that you brought to us in August.
Yes, yeah. The only corrections that so I don't want to. I never like to use the word promise, but my goal was to get a percentage off of the top. Off the 109, and then work with Chief on any vehicle assessments. Because I was unsuccessful on getting the 3% off the top, what I was able to do is work personally with the underwriter to basically increase the savings through the endorsement. So we were still able to obtain the goal, but it's just not a flat 3 off the top. So I still arrived to where I would like to be. It just had to come in a different traverse travel.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did we take off the vehicles that were deleted and then just drop the premium off of just dropping them like $100,000 on coverage for vehicle that's basically it's only a $2,000 a year savings?
Yeah, right around, I think it's 2120.
So
2,000.
the board needs to look at it and a replacement cost on option 1. If we want to go from 245 to 150 in coverage, which is 95,000.
And another thing I just unfortunately want to point out, you know, we went through, God, I want to say it was about 4 years ago when you guys had just started. We purchased, I believe it was 4 or 5 vehicles right off the top because of aging vehicles. And we are starting to get to a point with the big fire engines. You know, NFPA's recommendation is, 20 to 25 years for frontline vehicles. I remember at the time, I believe we purchased a number of ambulances. That's where we got our 22s. But, like you said, this 92 and this 98, if you look at NFPA, it is starting to get to a point. And unfortunately, like I said, new builds are getting expensive. As Mr. Siebert pointed out, Chesterfield 2 years ago purchased a ladder truck from Florida. They probably saved $1 million on a 2-year-old ladder truck, purchasing it down there, than building it brand new. They paid 1.6, and when we called the manufacturer at the time for that same spec, it was 2.5. So there's definitely a great market out there. It just takes a little searching to find it, unfortunately. But Chief Miller's a great guy. I'm sure if Steve got a hold of him, it'd be great communication. So
what do you guys think? I mean, take that kind of, it's a chief's recommendation.
Did you have a chance to talk to Dave about this? Or
I did not, but I know him and Dustin did meet a couple of times, but I mean, my concerns is that's a lot of coverage that we're losing for a small dollar amount annually.
Right.
But again, the vehicles are obviously, it's a 1992. I don't know if anybody's even driving a 1992 car anymore. I doubt it.
Right.
But
I almost want to talk to him a little bit. Because I agree with you. I feel like that's a lot to drop to.
I agree as well.
when is our,
Wouldn't he be back tomorrow or?
at the end of the week, I was told, ma'am.
yeah. When does this need to be approved by? Today?
It's already overdue, I know that, right?
Not necessarily. So your bound coverage is in place. If you guys, if we could collectively find a decision maybe before the next meeting, or if there's a special meeting, that would be wonderful. At the same time,
Or maybe
it'll allow
we
you
just
to.
approve this is what he's suggesting, and then if Steve says otherwise, then we can
Yeah, I mean, when
make
Chief
adjustment
gets back next week and he walks in the door and you guys hear what he has to say, and then you get an email, we will update the invoice accordingly and send over at that point. So, I mean, there's no, like you said, I'm not here to rush you folks, so.
Can the motion just be up to 109,428, and then if you and the chief decide you want it to be less, you're covered at the higher amount?
I'm okay.
I mean, I'm just
Yeah, no,
talking to the board.
Put it up to 109 then?
109,428.
And then if after speaking to Dave, he can
Yeah.
kind of convince you that he's comfortable with
That's
that
probably
number.
good. That's probably a great idea.
So a
I'm okay
motion
with
to
that.
approve the Decker agency policy as presented up to 109,428.
Correct, ma'am.
Works great. So moved.
I can, did you second it?
I'll support it. Is that Or Dave's
David make the
motion.
motion, Susan
Oh,
second.
mine was a question. I'm happy to
Okay.
make it an emotion, but if you made a motion, that's fine. It doesn't have to be.
Motion by Kraft, supported by Sokowitz. Can we get a roll call, please?
Bethwood,
Yes.
Rubio,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes.
Thank you, Dustin, for coming on motion. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. If it's okay, may I excuse myself?
Yes.
You won't have to come back now, at least, so.
I'm here at your leisure whenever you need me.
Well, next month, October 17th.
I thoroughly enjoy Bruce Township Board meeting, so thank you so much.
See you.
See ya.
All right. Move on to item 7A, which is unfinished business, replacement of township computers. We did approve to have 3 of the computers, or up to $3,000 in the treasurer at our special meeting, right, Frank?
I think it was at 3,400.
3,400.
Yeah, their amount was just wrong, so I just have to have you,
Yeah, I guess it was a wrong invoice, or it was an old invoice, and it went up by $300. To be honest with you, I ended up telling them to go ahead and install them. I just figured the $300 I'm able to approve as long as it doesn't go over $2,000.
because the number was in there, it's clerical, just to
Right.
correct it, so.
Right.
So at this time, we still need to, I mean, want to look at, we have our building department, we have 3 computers, our planning and zoning.
Yeah, and
also our
assessing needs theirs
department.
done because Mitch was saying his
I know.
is not doing well at all.
So we had a breakdown on, it's not in this packet from Rick, on the color section. I mean, so we need to make a motion to correct the dollar amount for Frank's computers, is that what it is?
Yeah, just, I'll make a motion to,
Well, I want to add that we make a motion to go ahead and approve to, have our other computers done, so we don't have to wait until our October meeting, because this is October 14th, it's kind of like the,
but you know which
Y2K.
computers and how much?
I think all of them. Oh, well, I think
no, Lisa's
Lisa's,
working.
yeah.
Well, Dana's and Christine just had memory added.
Yeah, I think they're okay, but it's Lisa,
Mitch,
and Kristen.
what about Ray Hicks?
That I don't know. I'm not aware of that.
So we had that, we had that on our sheet. I mean, I know we had money in the budget in every department for computer upgrades.
Yeah.
I know you said Rick was running out of computers though, or he didn't have them at those prices. Do we know what it is?
I spoke to him the other day. He says he does have them. So I imagine for another 3 computers, the price would be about the same, right?
Yeah, I would still just like to do $1 just in case we got 2 more computers.
Well, maybe you should do
Up to like
to
7,500.
a certain amount.
Yeah, up to 7,500.
Yeah. Good idea.
Change of motions, yeah.
And,
That'll include Frank's.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of computers not exceeding the amount of $7,000 and to correct the amount from the September 3rd meeting from, I think it was 34 something. Sorry, I don't have that number, it's right here.
Okay, I'll second. So that's-
340438 to,
It's 7,000 and the 400 addition.
and to change that to 3,733.40. Make sense?
Whenever you're ready, Rox. Oh, I second it. Is there any other discussion?
No.
Whenever you're ready, Roxanne.
Kraft,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Benton,
Yes.
Sucker.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Item 8A, the newbie rezoning, 275 East Gates. Finally, guys, sorry it took so long, so. I'm sure you've been enjoying yourselves, right? Sure. This is a planning commission rezoning. Dave, did you want to go ahead and speak on behalf of the rezoning?
Sure. The Planning Commission has had this before us, I believe, at the last 2 Planning Commission meetings. At this last meeting, we entertained motions both to approve and deny, and at that time, both of those motions failed. There was some additional considerations added to the conditional rezoning, and ultimately, the Planning Commission did approve the measure, or approve it, sending it to the board on a vote of 6-1. There was a letter included in your packet dated September 10th that basically expresses all of the conditions on page 2,
Hold on, let me
3,
get to that.
and 4.
The conditions are in our package, you said.
They're in
I
a
thought I
letter
saw-
from Dalton and Tomich.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this basically is a summary of the motion that was made to the planning commission. So it basically had to do with the conditions that will just be rezoned to C1 to be used exclusively as a chocolate and ice cream shop business. And then if you can see the other conditions that are down there. There's one for hours of operation, that they expect to be open 11 to 6, but they will not operate between 9 PM and 9 AM. There's some, conditions that they not change the exterior, demolition, demo the building or build something new there, certainly without the permission of the planning commission. That the conditions will continue on with the property. So all of this will end up being in the motion if we do a motion tonight.
Was there a condition if the property gets sold, it's reverted back to the current state of zoning?
Yes. Any future sale, lease, or transfer of the property shall remain subject to the conditions. Property beyond the scope expressly authorized by Bruce Township and approving the applicant's request. It's not there. Just these conditions will run with the property, so it can't be something else in the future. It can't be a restaurant or a bank or something else that falls into the C1 category.
When it
beyond-
says it runs with the property.
Correct.
I took that to mean that it was going to stay a C1.
Yeah, which we have concerns with.
I mean, if it's, then let's say this doesn't last a year or whatever, then we're into the C1 zoning, which it has a bigger scope for commercial.
So if you look under future use C, it says no subsequent purchaser or transferee shall be permitted without the township's approval to alter or expand the use of the property beyond the scope expressly authorized by Bruce Township in approving the application.
Good Leo question.
See it?
It's at the bottom of page 3.
3, and it goes on to page 4, right here.
Oh, the Dalton.
That carries over.
Last page of
And there's also under 6, there's future township action as well. Condition of this application for rezoning remains in effect and run with the land use until one of the following occurs. The township amends the master plan or issues a new master plan in a manner inconsistent with the conditions contained herein or directly impacting zoning classification. Or the township of its own accord rezones the property or surrounding neighborhood to a zoning classification that supersedes the initial R1B.
So this would just be a rezoning for this
Just for this
particular
particular,
use.
Specific.
Specific.
If you
How
look,
would that hurt us in the future? Let's say that does go under, then they can say, well, you allow the C1 here, and, is an argument for continuing it as a C1.
so according to Joe, a lot of this has to do with how we specify the land is going to be used and the rationale for why we're doing it. So it's not going to be someone can't come and say, here's R1B property and we want it to be C1 because you did it over here. According to Joe, that's not an option. If we do it without conditions and without rationale than it is, then we don't have much to stand on.
Both the applicant here and the attorney, if you want to have any questions, I might have a couple of questions.
I really couldn't see where it was zone C1 before. I seen it on the map, but I did a little research on the minutes and really couldn't find where historically it was ever. I know that it was a bargain barn. It was a bargain barn, but I don't remember, I didn't see anything in the minutes saying that it was designated C1.
Yeah, there's a big history.
It was
on
C2,
that.
actually.
Or C2? Okay.
Was our treat. Is there living quarters upstairs?
There was, yeah.
There was, or there still is?
There is. That is going to be used for just, I know, to conduct the production of podcasts or just internal business affairs. It would not be used for residential circumstances.
It's not going to be a rental facility, technically, basically.
No. And Joe also confirmed, too, that that would not, that would be in conflict to then the designation of the C1 use of the property from at the last planning commission meeting.
So according to Joe on that subject, the property can only have one use at a time. So it can't be both a commercial building and a residence. And that is partially covered under the A of this, that the property commonly known as 275 East Gate would be zone C1 shall be limited exclusively to the operation of a chocolate and ice cream shop business. Okay, and it does not include residence or apartment.
Is that going to be a problem at all for you guys? Not to have residence? There is also a concern about having a residential dwelling over the top of a kitchen.
We have one
What? Yeah, why don't you come up to the podium, way people at home can hear you?
Yeah, we don't have like a deep fryer or anything like that, no ranges or anything like that. All we have is the caramel cookers, which is a pot exhaust hood for the
Is
caramel.
that kind of like a crock pot, it heats up like that?
It's a little bigger
melts?
than that, but yeah.
Yeah, it melts down, so
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah, we cook it. We actually cook. It's not like a deep fryer though, where, you know, if you throw too many chickens in the deep fryer, all the oil goes all over. We don't cook like that. That's not our game.
all right. And you guys have no issues meeting any kind of NFPA fire codes? Or
No, we'll have the fire marshal in and talk to it. There's already some fire already there, right? There's already sprinklers there in existence.
Just get a message. It went from R1B to, from commercial R1B in 2004. Everything prior to that, and there is a long history on it.
It's listed.
Switched over. Anybody else have any questions maybe for the applicant? When would you be open?
Well, as soon as I get the permits and get the building changed, you know, it's an old building, haven't been able to work on it. I'm going through zoning, but you'll see permits probably next week for plumbing and electrical, and we'll be going from there. Hopefully, middle October. We hope to open the factory first and then the retail right after that.
Just in time for Halloween.
Well, yeah, that's not that big. It's Sweetest Days.
Oh, right.
Now, did this have to be noticed to the surrounding residents? Change if you
Already
were
had
to
public
change?
hearing.
There was always a public, there was?
Yeah, but the rezoning change, well, I think Susan's gonna, that'd be how many days? Rezoning?
45 days.
It was.
It already happened.
Yeah, in May.
Okay.
So there was some discussion at the planning commission meeting that this isn't actually formally changed to a C1 until the township attorney and their attorney draft all this into an agreement and sign it. It's recorded. That's when the change actually takes place.
Okay. You want to entertain a motion, Dave?
Sure. So I guess the question I have is, do you want me to read all the pages of this, or you have it all? Can we submit
We
this
have it
as
all.
a motion? With our, I add our rationale that was not included in here, because this was verbally at the planning commission meeting, but I would just,
As
Refer
presented.
to
as
that.
presented, yes.
It was basically what Dalton and Tomic, is that right?
Yes.
Is what they presented is exactly what you guys,
Correct. I went through the planning commission meeting and checked off the things that were included in here to make sure that it was complete.
all right. Sounds good. We can do it as presented.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the, what we're calling the newbies rezoning request on parcel ID 14-01-35-180-045, as presented in the September 10th, 2025 communication from Dalton Homich. And to that, there's a list of permitted uses that are listed there. Hours of operation, number 2. Site plan and interior design, number 3. Deliveries and shipments, number 4. Number 5 is future use of property, and 6 is future township action. And the final one is 7, fire code and kitchen compliance. The rationale that we would like to add to this is that this building was previously used as previous non-residential uses. That there was support expressed by local residents. It's surrounded by other non-residential uses, including the Township Hall, Fire Station, and Fellowship Church. That no reconstruction or redevelopment of the property will take place, and it is currently used for other township activities, such as citizens accessing the park.
Support.
I won't, okay, support by DeGiorgio. We need to add one more thing that really can't really do much until the agreement's been drawn up and signed. No, just keep that in mind, that we need to make sure we get that signed agreement before anything really gets going. So don't go gangbusters, so. Shouldn't take that long, I don't think.
I can get permits, right?
Well, it won't be rezoned, so permit. It's R1 until it gets signed.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it's R1B until it gets signed, right? The attorneys?
Technically, So nothing's done until we get a signed document and that all the conditions have been met, and then the board, and actually then we sign it, so it's gotta be, you can submit that right away.
Okay.
Our attorney should be able to get on it right away. He may have some word changes, and shouldn't take that long,
Okay. And this would just kind of require a signing of the parties, no next special
Correct.
meeting or anything?
Basically, yeah, you're in
Okay.
agreement on what we've kind of discussed and what the conditions are, and if any of those change, and you're subject to violation, and obviously, so.
Mhm.
Okay. I know you're chomping at the bit, but we gotta follow policy, procedures.
How long do you think that'll be? 1 week?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
3 days?
I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be 2 months, so that way if it comes
Oh,
in
no.
1 week, you'll be happy, so.
However fast the attorneys work.
Very fast. They work very fast.
Okay.
That's why you pay them the big money.
You come a long ways, you got to rezone, and it was almost next to, I thought it was going to be a tough thing to do, some public comment. I know there was public hearing, and didn't get too much feedback. I think everybody's just looking for chocolate and ice cream, I guess, so, all right.
Especially
Okay.
the kids
We
out
can
back.
vote on it? We can vote on it.
Oh, yeah, we did get a second by DeGiorgio, motion by Vincent, second by DeGiorgio, and Roxanne, whatever you want.
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Sockowitz,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes,
Vincent.
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Good
your
luck.
time.
All right. We'll move on to item 8B, which is the Nowak and Kraus engineering proposal. I have with us Carol Thurber, actually was able to make the meeting in case there are any questions for her. She's, actually president, owner, operator.
I'm a principal with Noack and Frost, yes.
Pull it down if you want. Yep, thank you.
So we haven't, we received, and what's got me going on this is we received congressional funding for our water main extension grant, I think back in 2021. $2 million, it's just been basically sitting there and we haven't been able to obtain that funding to go ahead and move forward with the project. Amanda Peters was doing a lot of work on it. She got us really far, but again, it just, it seems like almost impossible. They give us the funding, we're awarded the grant, I guess, technically, but they make it so hard for us to get the funding. I was talking to during our supervisors meeting and had a conversation with Rick Stafford, which is the Shelby Township supervisor. I think he's on his 4th term over there. He's been there 16 years. Carol, they had congressional funding on what project was it that you guys?
In Shelby Township, we had congressional funding for an addition to the Shelby Township Activity Center, and that was a HUD CPF grant. That one was $1.5 million. We also, in the Village of Lake Orion, have a $1.75 million one, which is for similar infrastructure. It's for a sanitary sewer improvement.
So you're able to get them through that? I mean, is there a reason why, maybe you can shed light on it as far as why it's so difficult to get this funding? I know there are municipalities that did apply for this funding and they're never even gotten to the point of.
It gets through the, originally you go to Congress and you ask for the funding and then it's approved and it's in the fiscal year, in your case, 23 funding, 24, 25. It's allocated, but you have to actually apply for it, and you have to go through all of the, dare I say, government red tape. You have to go through all of the federal processes. In this case, you have to go through grants.gov, and there's a whole bunch of forms you have to fill out. Amanda's done a wonderful job of preparing the project plan and getting it to that point, but there's still a lot of paperwork that has to be done.
Do you foresee any problem getting us through it? Have you got any?
I do not see any problem or foresee any problems getting you through it. The one hurdle left to be completed is through the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO, and there's a little hiccup on that. You have to be on a federal register to even submit to SHPO. As part of our Shelby project, we worked with Preservation Forward, and I've already spoken with Jessica from Preservation Forward, and she would be willing to take that project on to get through SHPO. Once that has occurred, then your agent with EPA will finish your environmental study, and then you can go to the next step and apply for your grants.gov and the rest of the forms that go with that.
State historical preservation, and is that, I guess it's like historical burial grounds or ancient burial?
Essentially, what they do is they do a study of, and of course, this is a larger area because it's a water main project, but they do a study of the area, and then they submit, essentially, they submit a finding of no historical effect. The reason you have to do that is you're actually breaking ground.
Okay.
And what is this going to be used for, Mike?
This is that water main extension that we've been working on to go from the east side of M53 to the west side of M53.
So just strictly for this is what?
That, and then also we have, I had her submit her qualification sheet and price sheet, and we may use her for engineering reviews because the engineering reviews are coming out at a 0.25% lower, and we could use another engineering firm.
We already have 3, don't we?
We technically only have 2. We've got AEW, which we've been sending very little work to, and then we're using Gibbles and Webster, which they're pretty busy. And there are, like I said, municipalities that have 3, 4 engineering firms. One engineering firm may be in charge of the water and sewer, the other one may be in charge of the roads, the other one might be in charge of the plan reviews. And again, her services don't cost us any. There's no annual fee to have you on as a service, right?
Absolutely.
So, but if we need you and we use you, especially for plan reviews, your fees are paid out of our plan review fees that we collect from our developers.
That's correct. That's a
So none of this
pass-through.
comes out of township dollars at all.
We're just picking and choosing which engineer we want to use.
Well, she came very highly recommended from a very respectful source, which was Rick Staffkis from. And again, to get us through our state funding, which we haven't, or our congressional funding, which we haven't been able to get through. If you have a better suggestion, like I said, I've been working on this for 3 years.
No, I would agree with the grant idea that it's good to have somebody hold our hands through that. I know it's been a process. But the whole engineering aspect, we have 2 already, and we're supposed to go to bid or taking on someone else.
I don't
Other
know.
2
We're not
engineering
using-
firms.
It's not costing the township anything to use them. If we don't, and again, if we do decide that we're going to use them in regards to our plan reviews, that's all paid for out of development funding. Huh?
I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but other 2 engineering firms are behind when it comes to getting work done.
I don't
Is what
wanna
we
say
hear,
that.
complaints from,
The cost has gotten
developers.
astronomical in some areas too, which is another reason. But I know that, I'm not saying it in the wrong way, but we've worked with one of the other engineering firms on this congressional funding already, and we've gotten nowhere. And it's been 3 years. So, and you know how I feel about one of our engineering firms and where we're at in cost, but, I mean, right now,
So Mike, do I understand correctly that in some instances, you have to have more than one firm?
well, absolutely, because we've had this and has ran into it in multiple times. A developer comes in and does a development, and they use, let's just say it's AEW. We can't have our AEW, which is one of our engineering firms, represent themselves and do their own plan reviews. We have to have a separate engineering firm to do plan reviews.
So it would be the same with Giffords Webster. If a developer was working with them,
Right.
then we would need somebody else anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. Does anybody have questions?
no, makes sense to me.
I mean, I talked to Mike Kozak a little bit, because he's seen that you're on the agenda. He wasn't warm and fuzzy about trying to get congressional funding. He's our engineering firm right now. So, he knows that it's a process, and it's
It is. And I feel since we've been through it, that's a big hurdle, is getting through it a few times. And since we've done it, we feel
Yeah,
pretty
if there's
comfortable.
money available, I think we need to use every resource possible to go ahead and go after that money.
our water district's not very big, and every one of these developments, if we get the Lombardo project, there's 20 more units that are going to be off the water there. We got 8 more or 9 more units coming in across from Sheena's. We lost out on Medical Timbers. You know, I mean, there's other developments, the one behind Boardwalk and Excalibur, if that goes in. We need these water users.
That
We
helps
need to expand
reduce our water
district
debt.
To spread
Yeah.
our water cost. Not only that, to increase our water district so that fluctuations in pressure aren't such an issue. You know, when you got a small little area and you open up a valve, it drops pressure. Doesn't have its same thing trying to catch up, it overpressurizes. So at one point in time, we're not trying to expand our water district into a higher density area. We're trying to get our water into areas where we highly need it. I mean, Springbrook Mobile Home Park was one of them, that they had some pretty bad water over there, and that was one of the reasons why we were looking at this congressional funding originally. Then we got Sheena's in the complex at Fiddler's Cove. Get fire suppression and Great Lakes water into an area that is already existing would be great. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve services of, I'll probably make this mistake. Nowak and Faust Engineering.
Yes, that's correct.
And basically, key focus would be to get going on our congressional funding, our grant process.
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio. Is there any other discussion? Can we get a roll call, please, Roxy?
Yes.
No.
Giorgio,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Vince.
Yes.
Motion carries. Carol, thank you for coming out.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. Thanks. Move on to item 8C, which is our master plan survey petition. Well, Susan, you kind of wanted it in the agenda. I agreed to have it on there. Did you want to open up the discussion at all?
Well, I just
There's
thought,
no action, I don't think.
no, I don't think so, but it's, just thought everybody would like to see the numbers. It's interesting. Quite detailed in the questions and the responses. I'm not sure his percentages are exactly right, but pretty close, I guess.
I've talked to a couple of people that are on the petition, and some of them wondering why are we spending the money on open up the master plan so early. And basically, I looked at some of the history. Technically, the law actually says that master plan must be reviewed at least every 5 years. And there's a difference between every 5 years and at least every 5 years. The Planning Act of Michigan gives municipalities the flexibility to review their master plan more often if conditions or prudent planning warrant, meaning that if we're in a high development area, if there's a lot of changes that are going on, which in Bruce Township there are. The Michigan Municipal League Act says also requires this review done every 5 years, but communities should consider conducting the review annually. And again, where particular areas where development is active. The last time, we just go back a couple of master plans. In 2015, the PC undertook the 5-year master plan review, and it took them 14 months to get from start until finish. So kind of starting where we did was kind of the same process of where they started back in 2015, but they started in February 2015, and it was approved in May of 2016. So it's a process that needs to be done. I know our planning commission members right now are doing a very thorough check of almost every parcel to see what might need to be done and what might not need to be done. Maybe there's not going to be any changes. I know office spaces, there's a lot of office space on our in our zoning map. We have office space that's available, but there is nobody using offices no more. A lot of these offices are closing down. A lot of people are working from home. The master plan in 2015 to 2016 that was approved, it was a comprehensive review, and there's only a few changes that were done, and as far as the change in the master plan. In 2018, they did open up the master plan and adopt it for the water district, and they did add the water district to the master plan. In 2021, the master plan was again looked at, and it was opened up, but it was basically reaffirmed that there would be nothing to need to be addressed, but it was that was done in 2018, which was 2 years. It was reaffirmed in 2016. It was amended in 2018 to take on the water district. But technically, the master plan has not been, nothing was done from the time we started until it was last change has been 8 years, other than being reaffirmed and looked at. So the process, what we're doing.
We looked at it, we just didn't change anything.
Back in July or June, I think it was, of 2024, all of us board members agreed that we would open up the master plan.
But I'm just saying, in October 2021, we did look at it, so we hadn't considered it, unless I
Right.
misunderstood.
So We do have a lot of signatures on the petition. It was circulated, I don't know, I guess there's wording on the petition. I did speak with some of the people that are on the petition. They didn't quite understand, but they didn't understand why we were spending the money on having the master plan looked at. If we waited until the deadline, again, I don't even know if we have to have it done in 5 years, or if we can wait, and there was questions as, what if we didn't do nothing? Which again, I think that's the state of Michigan. I think that we had troubles with the state of Michigan by not measuring our township. I think maybe Dorothy, you might be aware of this back in the day. They need to measure 100% of our township in the assessing department. I know they fall behind on that, and we do that 20% every year. That way in 5 years, we have the whole township measured. But I know the state is not very forgiving on a lot of these things that they require that must be met and must be taken care of. But
Well, because you're doing it, we're looking at it earlier, well then, when the 5-year comes, we're not planning on doing it again. This is
Right. I think the logic,
proactively sooner than
by the time they'll
saying.
get done, the 5 years will
5
be
years
here.
would be.
so we're at 14 months right now. And we have a checklist of master plan review procedures that we need to go through. There's 6 review procedures on here that we need to get through, and we're only at number 2 right now, so we still have 4 steps, and there's going to be other public hearings that are going to be involved. And I think we're right on track. Again, if we waited until the last minute, are we going to rush through it? I think it's just great that we're taking our time, and we've had public comment. The Planning Commission has sent out a great survey. We try to reach out to everybody. I know everybody received the survey, but we put it in every tax bill. Some people said they opened up the tax bills a little bit late, but we took it to the library, Parks and Rec. We had them here at the offices. We tried to get it out to everybody that we could. I know it was mentioned at the Planning Commission level. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. And again, I know the concerns are that we're changing industrial and we're going to turn everything into industrial manufacturing. This board's been here 5 years, and we have not increased our industrial manufacturing on our Van Dyke corridor, which seems to be the biggest concern, and that's not the case. So
I just think people are concerned. They've seen how Washington was built up, and it's got people maybe a little nervous. I think this is impressive that they got this many signatures, and
I feel the same way, and I need every one of them we want to listen to, but the people in the township basically elected us to do what's best on behalf of the township. They shouldn't have to worry about what's going on. Do they have to worry about a development, or a bulldozer, or a backhoe showing up in their backyard? They want us to do what's best for them. And I love this township. I don't want to see any high densities and industrial and high commercial. I grew up in Washington. It makes me sick to my stomach. I used to have a paper route down Van Dyke and to see what's going on down there. I don't agree with that either. I'm here to fight for the people and what they all believe in, and these people that all sign this, I'm right there with them, and I would have signed a petition myself if it was all about industrial and commercial. But I don't want the people to be all worried and, shooken up that they've got to start coming to the PC meetings and the board meetings because they got to worry about what this board's going to do when they've got no action on which this board's done in 5 years to prove it, And I think that it's a lot of times being misled by some of the wording and some of the people that I talked to about the conversations that they had, that this is even a possible option, that we're even going down this trail. I don't even know one parcel of land right now that we're even looking at possibly rezoning into an industrial corridor on Van Dyke.
I got a question. This petition is only for Bruce Township residents, right?
Right.
But half of it has Romeo residents.
Well, then maybe
And there is one individual that I know is not 18. That individual's 16.
This isn't a petition at all.
No, this
Okay,
is
this
signatures
language
for-
has never been validated or certified. Whoever circulated these petitions haven't put their name on these petitions when they submitted them. The wording that's here is absolutely incorrect, and these people were really misled into signing this thing, thinking that something nefarious is going on at the board and PC level, and that's not what's happening.
Right. Not
at all. So this doesn't even belong here. I don't know how something like this gets in a board packet, honestly.
Right. Anyways, both the PC meetings and the board meetings, anybody can come up and speak and say, you know, speak their piece, but I'm telling you, we're not changing anything to a Washington Township or a Shelby or anything close to it, and I don't think you have anything where you can say that we are, and anything that's been done by this board. Maybe by previous administrations, there's a possibility, but not during this board's term. And I don't foresee anything like that happening. And we all live here, and we all love Bruce Township the same as all of you, so all I can say is, you know, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. And again, my door is always open, I'm easy to get a hold of, you can call me anytime. Please reach out to me, don't get misled, you know, don't get people that think the wrong ideas, so. There's no action on this, so we're gonna, at this point, we've already gone 14 months into it. The PC's put a lot of time into it, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done, and we just continue doing what we're doing, I think. So, appreciate everybody's taking the time and show their concerns, but I think it's misleading, you know, unfortunate. So. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
You didn't talk about the survey. That's what
Yeah,
that
the
was.
survey speaks for itself.
I mean, Kim, I know you said it was the best survey, I think at one point in the meeting, you said it was the best survey you'd ever seen.
Absolutely, I stand by that.
You
Very valid survey.
You requested that we leave the survey open for a little bit longer, which we tried to do, and, you know,
Yeah.
so,
I just want to know, what are we going to do to implement what the residents are saying?
well, the Giffords and Webster, which is in charge of kind of putting and gathering all the information, they're gonna sort through the survey and what the percentages of what, basically, you know, what everybody's looking for, and they're gonna present it to the PC. PC's gonna go ahead and, it's gonna be open, discussions, and it's kind of laid out in our plan here, and it's all gonna be figured out. Just, everybody in here, if we're gonna go off the percentages, everybody pretty much says the same thing, let's keep it rural. We don't want any development. We all feel the same way. We all moved out here and we didn't want nobody to move in after us. That's as simple as that. It's still going on. Everybody that moves here doesn't want nobody to move in after them. We're gonna keep it as rural as we possibly can, but if you own a 5-acre piece of land and you wanna build on it or develop it, legally, we can't tell you no, it's gotta stay vacant, or leave it a park or a bird sanctuary or whatever the case might be. But we can say that you need to zone it exactly, build it exactly what it's zoned, and we will stand on it, you know.
Can do more.
No, we can't.
Well, it's not as easy as saying that, but we,
I understand.
you know. All right, so the PC is still gonna be discussing the master plan, 14 months. It's been on the agenda, I think, all along,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, we discuss it, you know, some aspect of it every month.
All right, thank you, everybody, for your participation. 8D, which is fee schedule for copies.
So there's been conversation about people getting copies from the office, and these are the only two things I could find. There's no charge for copies and assessment records. And then this second page, that was from 2015. So I don't know what you want to do with the fees, if you want to go with this, but we have to be consistent, because I turned in some money for copies, and Bob said he does not collect fees
That was
anymore,
for like
so.
10 cents. You did one copy or two copies, or was there some, I'm
Well, he
talking.
told me specifically he doesn't take copies. I don't have any problem with charging it, but we just have to
Well,
be consistent.
I asked him about that, and he said it was because it was for like 2 copies.
You paid for it?
But you also received, as far as I still can show, that you received board packets from March, April, May, June, July, and August, which comes out to 690 pages.
Yeah, that's not entire.
Well, that's kind of what, and I think that it went back prior to that, but until you can show me different, but we can't get board packets at 690 copies to every resident in the township.
Well, that's not accurate, Mike, but that's not the discussion. We just have to come up with a number. If you want
Well,
to be
she-
consistent here.
Yeah,
I'll glad
I thought it says here it's 10 cents a copy,
Yeah.
and then FOIAs, I looked at the FOIA, you've seen that earlier,
Well,
the
FOIAs are
FOIAs.
different, though, and if they're electronic, I don't charge, because you can't charge.
But there was a FOIA that, again, somebody recently had gotten, which was 2 hours involved in. The FOIA request is $22.11 per hour. It says right here in our Bruce Township FOIA fee schedule.
But Mike,
And
nobody
10 cents
gave
a
me the
copy.
hours until after the
But why is
information
there
was
so many
sent out.
excuses? If it was anybody else, they'd be hanging from a rope right now, Susan.
Mike, if somebody has a FOIA request, I have to know before I send it out the amount.
Why do you need me to tell you the amount when I told you it was 2 hours?
No,
and
how many,
Kristen-
she didn't tell me she spent
I told
hours. She
you.
was making a copy.
I told you
The
when-
next day, Mike, after I'd already sent it out. I don't
Did you
keep those on
ask?
my desk.
Did you ask how long?
Everyone knows, Mike, if there's required time. She made a
I
copy
know
of
that
something.
there's favoritism
that
going on and there, people are getting free copies and it's obvious. But I mean, it's not, I'm busting my tail to find every cubic foot of water that we charge 7 cents a cubic foot for, to be accountable for our water district. When we're giving out free copies at 690 pages or copies of FOIA requests when there's 2 hours of township personnel being involved in there, it's like a losing battle.
Mike, that was one time. The next
my
day, she gave.
There's been so many
moved it
FOIA
to out.
requests, you want me to dig back? And we
I
haven't been
always
charging for any
charge.
of them?
I always charge.
All right.
I
From this
cannot
point-
charge for an electronic copy of something.
I agree on that, but from this point
Is
on.
that's
there
what
a
they
way to send it to
predominantly
her
are.
electronically? I mean, I know that
They're
the
available
board, they
online.
are available
Yeah.
online.
We get
But
people come
as a
in from
PDF maybe or
people who
something.
don't have printers or
Right.
don't have internet up in that area up
Okay.
there. And we
Anybody-
do get requests. So
anybody can
as
have
long
a
as we're
copy.
consistent.
Anybody wants to come in, they want copies, that give them all the copies they want, all the board packs they want. We just gotta go for it. That's all we're asking.
That's fine.
And so I have another question about this because during the election, I got a database of the electors in the township. I was charged $50, so there must be another fee schedule somewhere. 'cause it says
There is a
20.
fee schedule for the,
For those.
for election.
Yeah.
Only
yes,
for those,
election.
because this
Yes.
one says they're $20, which obviously they're not.
Oh, yeah, there is one, there should be.
Yeah, and I don't, I mean, I
floating
don't
around.
mind,
Right.
there's a discrepancy here.
Right,
Then do we do either color copies or different size copies? You know, because some of the stuff we get in our packets are large
sure.
format prints, and those shouldn't be a dime.
Well, except those are supposed to be copies are supposed to be given to us.
Correct.
When they.
Well, I
so-
just didn't know if you provided those, like a building department would provide those to someone if they requested them, or something like that, but those should be a different schedule,
Yeah,
price schedule
we
as well.
don't have a printer big enough.
Okay, so you don't have a large format.
All right, there's no action on that. We'll move on to,
So we're just sticking with this fee schedule, you're saying?
I mean, I think the fee schedule's okay if we use it. I mean, but if it doesn't get used, it doesn't matter what fee schedule we have, it's better than,
Okay.
not than
I'll
10.
follow up on that then.
Is it basically 10 cents a copy for copies, right? Am I
Yes,
correct?
but when you're across the hall, I don't know about, no, never mind.
I don't know if we're, I mean, if, in assessing, there's an assessing issue where they would give out something, it would be a copy here and there. I mean, I can totally understand that, but when we're giving out hundreds of pages, I mean, it's,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I move on to item 80, the community brochure cost sharing agreement. Go ahead, Frank, you can take this one.
So basically, all three communities, Bruce, Washington, and Romeo, along with the DDA, Library, and Parks and Rec, would like to have one magazine, where instead of us sending out our own newsletter, we do it in this magazine. So it'd be called One Source. And we'd each, all 6 entities would get a section of the magazine. We're looking at 4 pages in this magazine, and the cost, I believe, would be approximately $6,000 a year for us to have 4 pages 4 times a year. It's a nice magazine. In our section, we'd be able to sell advertisement spots to, businesses in our community.
Help compensate on the cost.
Yeah. And it's a magazine that people would probably hang around, because it's kind of going to be like the Macomb Now magazine, that type of format. And attached is a sharing agreement, a cost-sharing agreement between all 6 entities.
We also have our PEG fees, franchise fees that we got to reach out to the people. And this would be money that would come out of that franchise and PEG fees. It is up to the township to kind of communicate with the community. I know, again, back to the survey issue, that there's people that didn't get the survey or didn't see the survey or opened up their tax bill after the deadline that the survey was due. There's more ways that we can reach out and reach out to people. Instead of sending out a newsletter and everybody send them out separately, we're going to all do it in one source and everybody can see what's going on, and have one more way of reaching out to the people. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
What happens if all the communities and representatives don't agree on it, this agreement? What happens then?
Everybody's really excited about putting it together. We have a meeting next Wednesday, but Frank and I will be.
Yeah. Everybody's excited about it. I don't think it's going to fail. The magazine is, it's a type of magazine that you would keep around. It's not something you're just going to throw away, you know. It's something
You'll
that
have information, like for Bruce Township in particular, what kind
Yeah,
of
there'll be,
information are we
there'll be
looking
4 pages where any board member will be able to submit a newsletter or an article. There'll be sections there where our businesses can advertise in. So it's going to be 4 pages.
So
of
who's compiling the information?
There'll be one person from each community that will do it, and then we turn it over to, I think,
Lady from
Claire. Or the-
library.
Yeah, the lady from the
And
library.
we have to decide who that is at the board, like, if it's one department, is it gonna be one official, is it gonna be?
We didn't discuss that. I think that would be up to each community how you want to do that.
Going to be
Can I
first.
ask a question real quick? Will that take the place then of that newsletter we get?
It take place in the
Yes.
library, the Parks and Rec that came out today. It's going to replace all of them. It's all going to be in one guide now. So it'll be really worth keeping around. So that's what we're going to.
It'll come out 4 times a year, you said?
Yes.
We still was talking. That was 3.
They were talking, well, then they changed it to 4 at the end.
I mean, there is a notice that you can see. We got notices here to let everybody know. So it's going to be like happy. I mean, Frank, you willing to jump on board with this? You were doing a newsletter before, so it's kind of the same thing.
If the board wants me to, I have no problem with it, unless you want someone else, you're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah. How I feel about this stuff, but I know I could. They just said I got to submit it. That's the main. Work through it. So.
Right. Well, what they're doing is they've acquired a Canva template, so it's going to be very simple to implement into the Canva, and then they use that.
So you would just submit
print.
your pages, and then they would?
You would submit, whoever wants to put an article would submit it to the point person of the municipality. They would put it in the Canva format that they established, and then it would get sent over. That template then gets sent over to, I forget the lady's name from the library. She.
She'll do all the proofreading and all the kind of?
Claire, the other, her assistant. Claire's assistant.
Is that true, Therese? Is that what you're hearing on your end at the library? And
Sort of.
What are you hearing different?
That's fine. No, that's kind of what I'm hearing, I guess.
Frank, you want to put a motion? This is going to be paid for out of PEG fees or franchise fees?
The franchise fees, yeah. So make a motion for the board to approve this Washington Bruce and Romeo Parks and Recreation and Star Transportation Commission Community Brochure Cost Sharing Agreement as presented.
What's the total annual cost?
The total annual cost would be about $6,000 for Bruce Township.
Again, franchise and PEG fees, those are not tax dollars. Those are paid from our
money that comes from Comcast and Xfinity.
so the payment would go to, it's looking like if it's late, what does it say? It's required to pay the commission the amount owed along with the 10% admin fee within 30 days of being invoiced. Guess who does that go to?
It would go
Each
to the
member of
Parks and
local
Recs
shall be
Department.
repaid to the commission for the actual percentage of cost.
that in the contract?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on
that's
page
number
2.
2.
Wait, it's just like anything else, looks like you can't be late.
Right.
Or is it you just pay that, you're
I
going to
don't
be
see
charged an
it's-
admin fee?
I think,
On
yeah,
top
just a
of it.
10% admin fee.
Yeah, I don't
whether
think
or
it's
not-
you're late or not,
Yeah.
it just has to do with, and I think that maybe that's being collected by, do you think Parks and Rec? Is that the
Yeah,
commission when they're
whoever's
talking about
putting
it?
it together, yeah.
Okay. That's if the commission is required to, based on timing, pay, then you have to pay the 10%, it appears. Is that correct?
If commission
If I
is
read
required
that?
based on timing or otherwise, to pay any local community's percentage amount of the cost of printing. So if they have to pay for your portion, then you owe them 10%.
10%.
Yes.
Okay,
That's what it looks like. It's-
okay. So otherwise, you don't pay 10%.
Correct. That's what I.
That's what
how
I'm
I
reading
read
too.
that.
Okay.
Got a motion by DeGiorgio, I support. Frank and I have been working on it together for a couple more meetings, but if there's no other discussion. Can we get a roll call, Roxanne?
Brad?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Sockowitz? Yes. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, we're wrapping it up. We can move to communications before we go to closed session. Dorothy, you want to start? Or do I always start with you?
I know you do.
David, you got any communications?
I do not.
I do. I just want to remind everybody, there's an election on November 4th, and there is no early voting. We get calls about that a lot, but it's not a state or federal election, so there is no early voting. This is a Romeo Schools election. It will be paid for entirely by the schools. And as always, there will be overtime. I know everybody's particular now. We got to make sure that you're aware of the overtime, that you're aware of the overtime. So I just want to list some of the hours, extended hours. Saturday, the 20th, there's a deadline to mail out move ballots for military and overseas. We just come in and check to see if it's not a lot of time, but we will be in the office. Friday, October 31st is the deadline to mail out AV ballots. We're in the office to check the mailbox and to mail those out. Saturday, the 1st, we are required by the state to be open for 8 hours. Our hours will be 7:30 to 4:30. Monday, November 3rd, we'll be programming laptops. We have to be in line with the state to download our program, and then we have to load the laptops. So sometimes that could take a little more than 4:30, our quitting time. Tuesday, the 4th, election day, we could have as many as 10 hours times 2 or 3 people of overtime. For the August election, we had only 9 voters, and we had 9 hours of overtime. So as a comparison, this election, there will be as many as 7,500 voters. So,
I have a question in regards to that. Is that okay now during communications?
Yeah.
If you have hours that, like Saturday hours, you know that someone has to be here, is that something that can be traded a day off during the week as opposed to paying overtime, like having Thursday off and coming in Saturday instead, and then not having to deal
well,
with the
during
overtime?
elections, it is all hands on deck all week. We have people now, they come to register to vote here, which is part of the reason why we're open on Saturday. So I don't see sending anybody home
Okay.
during that time. I mean, it's something I can look into, but I don't see that happening. Dorothy could speak that too.
The only thing, maybe after the election, if they were able to and they wanted to take the time as opposed to getting paid for it. That used to be something that we were allowed to do. So if that's something, I can't remember in the contract if we allowed comp time. I'm trying to remember, but
Yeah. Moving more towards it.
overtime would be time and a half, so that would be a little bit more than
Makes sense.
1 for 1.
We looked at it. manager. What else?
That's all.
How about next? I only have one thing I thought I'd bring it up, but Sam Braviti called myself and Megan to his office one day. He was discussing about trying to get one media station again to try to do all three communities, since we're trying to come together with this newspaper. But primarily my meeting went, my statement was, Sam, we're pretty good with what we got going on. We have Riley's doing a great job back there. We pay less now that we got our YouTube figured out, and there would be no reason for us to even consider looking at another contract. You know, maybe at $30,000, $40,000, but again, it would need to be bid out, and we remember the last time that this happened. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, or do you guys want to look at trying to go with one community television station, or go through the process, but, you know, I mean,
Something to think about, I guess, right?
it's not up to me to make the decision. I mean, I spoke my piece, you know, and let them know that I think we're fine with what we've got, and why would we spend $30,000? Things what we have are working, and we did invest in our current filming equipment, and now that we got Riley, you know, thumbs up, Riley.
We
That's
have
all.
others that work that position. It seems like at one time was Dana's son working back there.
Yes, I think he does backup and,
Okay.
and maybe in some meetings and stuff, you know.
I haven't seen him in a while. I just wondered if we had more than one person, that's
I
all.
don't think he's able to, because he usually is a
Okay.
PC, so.
Got it.
Peach Festival went really well. It was a great weekend. A lot of people. The
Great
parade.
weather.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The floral parade, I looked down Main Street both directions. It was just solid people. So everybody seemed like they had a really good time. It sounded like it went totally without incident, you know, which is the best we could hope for. So, well, that's all I got, Frank.
The only thing I got is Goodrich Cemetery that's located on South Kidder Road. It's a very old cemetery, like the other two or three. Dave Carter from Carter Preservation Company has been there doing some work. He was there a couple months ago, leveling monuments, cleaning them, which is a special technique because of the limestone that they used for headstones back then. And he was there again today, and he's going to be there again tomorrow. Stewart's of Bruce Township has been flipping the bill for most of the work. And it's going to look really nice once it's done, so probably be getting 2/3 of it done tomorrow.
That's great.
So that's it. That's all I got.
Dorothy?
I'm good.
All right. Does anybody else have anything that they want us to discuss at all? If there's nothing else for this board, then I'll make motion to adjourn.
No.
We got closed session.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Motion to go into close, oh, not so lucky then. Okay, motion to go into closed session for
8:25.
review with the written opinion of our council. There's no MCL number, we don't deal with this. Okay. At 8:25.
Support.
Two supports, support by DeGiorgio and Vincent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gotta have a roll call.
A roll call.
Roll call then, please, since you insist.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
DeGiorgio.
Yes.
Sockowitz.
Yes.
Vincent.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Riley, I don't think you can do anything. The motion, right again?
It would simply be to authorize council to initiate litigation.
Anybody?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Welcome back, everybody. We're back from closed session and go back in open session at 9:07 PM. We need a roll call or just, no, there's no roll call. We're back in open session.
Susan's taking the minutes, right, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody remember the motion?
Authorize council to initiate litigation.
So we're gonna I make a motion to go ahead and authorize council to initiate litigation. Second.
Second.
Support by David Vincent. Can we get a roll call, please?
Vincent,
Yes.
Sockowitz,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Kraft, yes.
Motion carries. And that'll do it for tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging out so late.
Thank you guys for your time and attention and
Thank you.
engagement tonight.
Thanks, Ryan. Riley.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn at, since 9:08.
Support.
By George, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Can I get those letters back?
Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You don't want them.
Right. Thank you.